Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This is your Raw video for this week and Superstar spoilers. And, as usual, happy birthdays goes to Dewey Robertson, was born on February 28, 1939. Also worked as a missing link. Died on August 16, 2007 at the age of 68 due to a long battle with lung cancer. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat turned 63 on Sunday. Performance Center trainer Norman Smiley turned 51 on Sunday. Masato Tanaka turned 43 on Sunday. Lance Hoyt turned 39 on Sunday. He's working as Lance Archer in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Advertised dark main event for Raw was supposedly Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, and Kevin Owens in a six-man tag. Big Time Wrestling slash Omega from Raleigh, North Carolina, Dorton Arena. Report thanks to Craig Green. Yeah, this is the one that the Hardy Boys own. At least Omega part of it. The show started on time, right about 8 p.m. Attendance appeared to be at least 400 people. Editor's notes, it was told that attendance was actually about 1,500 range. Good turnout for the reporter's opinion for the Northeast-based indie wrestling promotion in Old School South. This was the first wrestling event in Dorton Arena since WCW was here in 1983. Always thought Ring of Honor should run a show in Dorton, but they never have. The allotted general admission was $15 seats for about 80% full, and the floor seats were about the same. The wrestlers' entrance had a respectable look to it. It had a flat screen attached to it with everyone's names and pictures. The lighting looked good from where we were at in the sixth row. There were two lighting rigs on opposite sides of the ring, so the house lights were turned out, minus two rows dimmed above the ring. There were meet and greets from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with Jim Cornette, Lex Luger in a wheelchair, Road Warrior Animal, Scott Steiner, and Matt Hardy. Baby Doll was advertised on the website, but the reporter didn't see her. She may have been there, but didn't go out of my way to look. Merchandise tables there was plenty of merchandise. Cornette and Animal were two gimmick tables that I noticed, in addition to Luger sitting at the BTW table. Reporter bought himself a New Japan Pro Wrestling baseball style tee and got his girlfriend's daughter a John Cena and Undertaker figure from the High Spots table. George South even had a merchandise table. On to the show. Before the opening bell, ring announcer acknowledged Luger and the legendary Mid-Atlantic wrestling announcer Bob Caudle were in attendance. There was a nice ovation for both men. And for the results, match number 1, Toto Loco pinned the Man Scout Jake Manning in a 10-minute match. After a top rope splash, Manning is doing an adult Cub Scout gimmick. With the handbook and all, he checked it mid-match to make sure that he was on point. Match number 2, NWA World Tag Team Champion Loverboy Matt Riviera with Johnny Morton pinned Michael Berry in 8 minutes. Riviera hit a flatliner after his manager Morton distracted Berry during a pin attempt. Match number 3, Trevor Lee of TNA, the current TNA X Division title holder, retained his title against Caleb Conley in 11 minutes. The finish came after a weak-looking small package driver. Jim Cornette was out next in wrestling gear, such as t-shirt, jogging pants, and visible elbow pads, to present a Lifetime Achievement Award to the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. Cornette, of course, felt as if he deserved it and offered to fight Valiant for it. Well, the Boogie Woogie Man obliged, hit Cornette with his own tennis racket, and sent him back to the locker room. Bam Shaw and Shane Riley defeated Mr. TA and George South in a 9-minute match. For match number 4, South cut a heel promo before the match, then proclaimed that the crowd that he loved Jesus and he even had it on his trunks. Awkward. The finish saw Bob Caudle sitting in the front row hit South with a metal cane. Then Shaw and Riley hit the old school heart attack on TA for the pin. South and TA looked like they could barely bump at all. Match number 5, Big Papa Pump. Scott Steiner defeated Big Time Wrestling Champion Flex Armstrong by disqualification in 15 minutes. Armstrong's female manager, whose name is searched for the internet, but couldn't find it, hit Big Papa Pump with a BTW title belt for the disqualification. Jeff Hardy defeated Dynamite Danny Miles by disqualification in an 8-minute match after a run-in by C.W. Anderson of the Bullet Club. Hurricane Helms made the save, and we now have a tag match because babyfaces apparently don't like disqualification finishes in their favor. Match number 7, Jeff Hardy and Shane Hurricane Helms defeated C.W. Anderson. Okay, well, C.W. Anderson is not from the Bullet Club. It's Carl Anderson that's from the Bullet Club. C.W. Anderson and Dynamite Danny Miles in 8-minute match. Hardy got the pin on Anderson after Helms chokeslam a big splash combo by Hardy. No swanton bomb tonight. Intermission at that point after that match sets up a steel cage that lasted roughly 20 minutes. Several wrestlers helped to set up the cage, including Shane Riley and Caleb Conley. Right before intermission, ring announcer pointed out that the referee had yellow polka dots on his pants as a Dusty tribute, which got a nice ovation. Match number 8, Rock and Roll Express and the Powers of Pain with Jim Cornette in a steel cage match. Rock and Roll Express defeated the Powers of Pain with Jim Cornette in the corner in a steel cage match of 10 minutes. Road Warrior Animal was the keeper of the cage key. It sounded as if the Powers of Pain came out to their WWF music. Ricky Morton rolled up Barbarian for the win after Animal slammed the cage door in his face. Matt Hardy defeated Ethan Carter III in 10 minutes to retain the TNA and Omega Championships in a steel cage match. Matt cut a promo beforehand, putting himself over as the only true World Heavyweight Champion in history. And took playful jabs at Triple H, Jay Lethal, and Kazuchika Okada from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hardy also said Daniel Bryan retired to avoid coming to TNA to lose to him, and that he would beat EC3 like the Tar Heels beat North Carolina State this past Wednesday. Matt escaped through the cage door after a ref bump allowed C.W. Anderson and Danny Miles to interfere on his behalf. After the match, the three men in Willow the Wisp looking mask with an umbrella in hand came out to save EC3 from a triple team attack from Hardy, CW, and Miles. Well, EC3 and the Masked Men fought off the heel trio. Then one of the Willow men inside the cage attacked EC3 when he opened the umbrella indoors. Well, that's bad luck. It seemed as if it's an Omega angle playing out at a BTW event. And they left, the reporter left in the middle of it. I don't think enough fans tonight follow Omega. I don't know what's happening anyways. Overall, it was a nice show. What a fun way to spend 3 hours on a Friday night. There was no color at all, not even the two cage matches. I didn't expect to see any 5-star bouts due to the aging legends and whatnot. But since my girlfriend and daughter enjoyed themselves, it was worth the $25 a piece and spent on 3 tickets. No return date was announced. Of course, they gave the biggest pops, Jeff Hardy, Scott Steiner, Lex Luger's announcement as at the start of the show, along with Bob Caudle. Most Heat, of course, Matt Hardy. Mentions of the Duke Blue Devils. Yeah, for real. Dorton Arena is on the doorstep of NC State University, but there's a huge UNC fan base here in the Triangle. The reporter is a Duke fan, so that, in fact, naturally makes me sad. And the third, rounding out the most heat, C.W. Anderson run-in stops a potential swan-time bomb from Jeff Hardy onto Danny Miles. Country music star Randy Houser was at Raw with Mark Henry. I'll show you a photo right there for you, as well as Charlotte backstage. As seen on Thursday, SmackDown, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho teamed with Mark Henry to defeat the New Day. Jericho left SmackDown, taking a shiner from last week's SmackDown, but there wasn't any photos posted. Well, this time there's actually a photo of his black eye. And he was almost sporting it on Raw just a little bit. And I'll show you a photo of that. Well, he also commented on Twitter, took a bullet for at AJ Styles P1 tonight. Yeah, that's AJ Styles' username. On hashtag WWE SmackDown. But we won the match and beat the hashtag WWE Tag Team Champions, so it was worth it. Hashtag Y2AJ. At WWE, hashtag WrestleMania. As noted, Rusev revealed on Twitter that he will give a Maserati to any superstar that can body slam him on Raw. Well, they didn't do anything regarding the videos or pictures of it on Raw, as WWE confirmed the segment with the following teaser. First attempt to view. I'll show you the link. You can go to twitter.com / WWE Universe. No word yet why the Rusev Body Slam Challenge did not happen on Raw. Earlier, posted backstage video of Adam Rose, which you can see that link there, trying to slam Rusev, but having no luck. Michael Cole mentioned on commentary that Sheamus also tried to challenge, but said he was just joking. R-Truth also tried, but he thought it was an armbar challenge. As Rusev did no thing. Go check out the video. Also on the link I posted, as R-Truth thought he was trying to do an armbar hip toss. If you're a WWE superstar in the market for a Maserati, Gran Turismo, who's also known for your body slam acumen, boy, are you in luck. After teasing a big announcement yesterday on Twitter, resident League of Nations heavy hitter and former U.S. champion Rusev issued an open challenge to the WWE locker room over his account. He's placing the keys to a Maserati online to any superstar who can lift him up and slam him down on Raw. Well, obviously it wasn't done, so he keeps his Maserati. No small amount of strength inclined. WWE superstars will be expected to take the challenge. Ryback, Big Show are a couple of obvious candidates, but given that anything can happen in WWE, it's a solid bet someone unexpected will take the Bulgarian Brute up on his offer. Sadly, the image of El Torito peeling out with a sleek machine doesn't sound so far-fetched, or does it? Also noted, former WWE diva Barbie Blank got married over the weekend to NHL player Shelton Surrey in Mexico. And you can go to this link thanks to Maurice Owlette, Instagram.com, the real Maurice Owlette. UFC fighter Alistair Overeem, the individual who ended Brock Lesnar's UFC career, says he's open to fighting Lesnar in WWE once he retires from MMA. During a recent appearance on UFC Fight Night, Overeem said, quote, "The Brock Lesnar fight? Maybe one day in WWE when I retire from real fighting," unquote. Dean Ambrose vs. Brock Lesnar is a surprise addition to the WrestleMania 32 card, with the WWE throwing away the substantial build they put into Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt for April 3rd. Wyatt had already attacked Lesnar on an episode of Raw. It's an addition to costing him the Royal Rumble. While it wasn't exactly the most inspiring build, it did have narrative potential and would have at least been entertaining in-ring match for fans at the event. But in a sudden move, WWE changed it to Ambrose Lesnar feud and match instead. Wyatt's planned run-in to cost Lesnar at Fastlane never happened, and WWE instead focused on heating up exchanges between the Beast Incarnate and the Lunatic Fringe. Well, more details later on that change as well. Lesnar and the Wyatts are still penciled in to feud later this year, with a match likely taking place at SummerSlam. Both Lesnar and Wyatt aren't happy with the WWE's sudden change of plans. In Lesnar's case, he wanted a match with the Eater of Worlds. February 25th news, Great Khali suffered a severe head injury during an angle at the end of the event for Khali's new wrestling promotion. From Sunday night, the match itself, link. Khali was wrestling Brody Steele, but was jumped by Mike Knox, Steele, and other wrestler after a ref bump. Khali was then taken out on a stretcher. As you can see on the video, he was taken out on a stretcher. On February 26th, the news, Khali was airlifted from Haldwani to a hospital in Dehradun, where he was admitted to the ICU. Medical team needed to use 2 beds because of his size, and Khali received only 7 stitches to the head. By the way, he is stable and completely out of danger, said Dr. A.K. Singe. Wonder if he's any kin. Dolly Singe? Well, that's his name. Whatever. Director of Neurology Department to the Times of India. He did not lose consciousness, so there are no worrying signs about his health. Being carried out to the arena, link for that, but the match in the above. And here's a video clips of last night's Ring of Honor tapings. Well, the clips include videos from Jay Lethal versus Hiroki Goto, Kushida versus Adam Cole, and Red Dragon versus Kazuchika Okada and Gedo. Video of all results on fans' Twitter account. Notice only maybe 20 seconds for each clip. Again, for that link, twitter.com/SAJC fan. Thanks to PW Ponderings for the results. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Cedric Alexander to retain the Ring of Honor TV title. Briscoes defeated Reno Scum of Adam Thornstowe and Luster the Legend. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Michael Elgin defeated the Young Bucks. Roger Strong defeated Adam Page, Matt Seidel, and Moose in a 4-way dance. Cheeseburger fought an unknown wrestler to a no contest. Jay Lethal with Truth Martinez and Taylor Hendricks defeated Hiroki Goto to retain the Ring of Honor title. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly defeated Kazuchika Okada and Gedo. Adam Cole defeated Kushida. Motor City Machine Guns back in action and defeated Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. Wonder what tag team name they're going under now. War Machine defeated Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero to retain the Ring of Honor tag titles. Kenny Omega defeated ACH. Dalton Castle defeated Silas Young in a fight without honor. Other wrestling news, Rycliffe Stevens, the former Ezekiel Jackson, posted the following on Twitter, noting that he's starting a wrestling school in Redwood City, California. At Rycliffe S, you can follow him on Twitter. Launching my wrestling school in Redwood City, California. Pro Wrestling's workout for beginners. Go to this link for pictures or what have you. Previously reported, TNA star Davey Richards recently underwent knee surgery. He's now updated his Twitter account with some tweets on his rehab and recovery time. You can check out his tweets at Richards Wesley. You have to understand that there's no normal guidelines or rules. Only I dictate how fast I recover, placing arbitrary numbers. And then he tweets again, on someone who is anything but conventional. It's just ridiculous. Like anything else, I'll follow my own rules. Simple as that. TNA is seeking outside investors to come on board. Gee, I wonder why, because they can't even pay their wrestling talents as of this date. TNA EVP of Creative and Talent Relations, John Gebrick, confirmed that the news following reports that Dixie Carter was in Los Angeles for meetings, including at the POP TV offices. Gebrick confirmed that TNA has been in strategic partnership talks with several major global media companies and investment firms about the company's next phase of growth. They're trying to sell out. He wouldn't confirm potential partners due to the ongoing nature of the discussions. Gebrick acknowledged that Carter was in meetings in Los Angeles and says that she and TNA's executive team have been spending a lot of time in Los Angeles and New York City. He also added, TNA CEO Dixie Carter has talked in recent media interviews about the company's execution of its 5-year growth plan, and that the meetings were in line with making those plans happen, adding, it's a very exciting time for TNA. Crucial time, I would say, because they haven't paid their talents from their last TV tapings. Christopher Daniels appeared on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated podcast this week and talked about never signing with WWE. Daniels told the podcast that he regrets that he never had the chance for a WWE run. I wouldn't be human if I didn't wish that had come my way, as Daniel said. I certainly am proud of the guys who have gone on and done that. But that's their hard work. I'm not jealous of that part of it. I wish the timing had been different. If WWE had softened their perception of the independent scene 5 years earlier than they did, maybe that would have been me. When I got into TNA in 2010, their attitude seemed to be very set against that idea. At the same time, too, I feel like at the same time, when I might have been most appealing to the WWE in terms of character and in terms of connection I had made with the fans, I was under contract with TNA, so to me, bad thing about it was just timing. There's nothing you can do to change that. For me to dwell on that would just be useless exercise in futility. I'm bummed out about it, but at the same time, I'm content where I'm at. Revolution Pro. Results from Revolution 2. Results from February 27th. Thanks to Sean Campbell and PW Insider posting the results. El Mariachi and Juventud Guerrera defeated the Border Patrol. The finish led to a brawl where the whole locker room cleared out and filled the ring. Silver King defeated El Vaquero Fantasma. Christina Von Eerie defeated Kiana Rivera via dusty finish disqualification to retain the Revolution Pro Women's Championship. Best match of the night. Both women were fantastic. Los Chicanos defeated Willie Mack and Ultimo Panda to become the new Revolution Pro Tag Team Men's Champions. El Campesinos 2 defeated Angel of Flight Mike Matthews. Gallo Tapado Jr. defeated Anarquia, Estilo Mexicano, and Cazador del Alma. Simon Cross defeated Papa Esco, Raul Escobar. Looked to be standing room only crowd for about only 800 in attendance. They announced a June 4th return to San Francisco for all women's tournament. And that concludes the results for that. WWE Games posted this video. Samoa Joe with WWE 2K16 Hall of Fame Showcase live stream from a few days ago. AJ Styles recently spoke with Rapzilla about his faith and being a fan of Christian hip-hop. The article pointed out how Styles tries his best to outwardly live his faith and how there are always things around that can distract, especially in the high profile of world of WWE. As Styles commented, there are some things that are maybe a little bit harder because there are attractive women around, but you can't forget who you are and what you have. I love my wife. I love my kids. And at the end of the day, it's really worth it to live with that guilt. Speaking of the Christian hip hop, at the Century Link Center this coming Sunday, Winter Jam. I think the tickets are $15. My brother was saying they're only $10. As Friday night, they are in Houston, Texas. As seen on Raw, Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch #1 contenders match ended with a double pin and was called a draw. WWE has not made it official as of this writing or this video, but they should have announced a triple threat with the WWE Divas Champion Charlotte for WrestleMania 32 soon. Noted more than a month ago that triple threat was the plan. WWE taped the following matches for Superstars episode. Neville versus Victor, Natalya versus Summer Rae, and thanks to Wrestling Inc. and Justin Hall for the results. Neville defeated Victor with Connor at ringside with a red arrow. Neville was really over. Natalya defeated Summer Rae by submission with a sharpshooter. It was an okay match. Summer had good heat with a Summer Sucks chance. Dark match, it wasn't one. Second report for the results. Neville defeated Victor with Connor, red arrow. Same results. Okay. Both people said the same results. Okay. Raw opened up with a look back at last week with WWE World Heavyweight Champion Triple H destroying Roman Reigns. We're live from Nashville, Tennessee as the pyro goes off and Michael Cole welcomes us to Raw. He's joined in by JBL and Byron Saxton. Yeah, the guy who tossed Roman Reigns the blood capsule from the pay-per-view or from Raw, whichever, whatever. I've forgotten last week. We go right to the ring. Out comes Triple H in a suit. Of course, corporate. Triple H talks about how everyone has an authority figure in their life and they don't challenge because they're afraid. He says that fear is not a bad thing. It's what keeps things in place. He says nature provides you with that fear so you will know your place in life. As the fans boo, he says Roman Reigns should have listened to that fear. He should have known his place, but he didn't. He chose to challenge the authority and disrespect authority. He chose to challenge Triple H and disrespect Triple H. Triple H says Reigns is sitting at home right now, hoping his WrestleMania spot still exists. He goes on, but is interrupted by the music of Dean Ambrose. Out he comes to a pop from the crowd. Ambrose is barely limping to the ring and goes to speak as the fans cheer for him. They chant his name. Ambrose says he just got off the phone with Reigns. He says hi, and he's coming for Triple H. But Triple H makes their bromance, and Ambrose says he wanted to have this talk last week, but he got mauled by a grizzly bear in the parking lot, and he was driving an ambulance and challenging Brock Lesnar. He talks about the other stuff that happened last week, and the fans start chanting for Shane McMahon. Ambrose asked Triple H if he likes Shane or not, and Triple H brushes it off. Ambrose asked Triple H who he wanted to win the triple threat at Fastlane, or better yet, who he did not want to win. Triple H says Ambrose is wasting his time. He says Reigns and Lesnar are the only ones that meant anything in that triple threat. He says it was clear Ambrose was never a factor. Ambrose then steps in Triple H's face. Almost goes, well, they go nose to nose. They back off a little bit. Ambrose knows Triple H forgets about the little people sometimes, but he's Dean Ambrose, and he's the last person Triple H wanted to face at WrestleMania 32. Triple H laughs at him and asks if he really is mental. Ambrose wonders why everyone keeps saying that. Ambrose says Triple H is smart enough to know he can't beat him. Fan chant for Ambrose. He says he can see it in Triple H's face and body. He can read Triple H like a self-help book. He can even smell it on him. He says Triple H doesn't believe he can beat Ambrose. Triple H says the unfamiliar smell is probably laundry detergent and clean clothes, or something else Ambrose doesn't have, money and power. And you get a "You Can't Beat Him" chant starting from the crowd. Ambrose challenges Triple H to a title match tonight. Ambrose wants to find out if he's just talking crazy and wants to find out right now. Triple H says Ambrose can't just walk out with a crazy idea and make it happen. Triple H says this does intrigue him, and he will think about it and see if it's best for business. He will give Ambrose an answer by the end of the night. Triple H was going to give Ambrose a night off because of Lesnar beating him up, but he changed his mind. He books Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio with the rest of the League of Nations at ringside to see if Ambrose will learn to respect authority. And Triple H leaves the ring as we go to the announcers. Still to come segment, Undertaker will be here tonight. Also, Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon will be here. We see Becky Lynch and Sasha walking backstage. Back to commercial. Number one contenders match, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Well, I was expecting this one to be an interference from Charlotte, but instead they went with a draw. Back from the break, out comes Becky to a pop, and this is how it happens. Sasha was out next. Also, good reaction. We see Ric Flair and WWE Diva Champion Charlotte sitting at ringside. Well, they were there at ringside. They go at it. Sasha connects with the first takedown. Sasha avoids an early disarm for attempt. Dueling chants by the fans. They trade several holds and pin attempts before coming to a stalemate as fans cheer. Sasha tossed Becky to the floor, but she lands on her feet. They tangle on the floor as Becky comes off the apron and nails Sasha. Becky brings it back in, but Sasha knees her in the face and pulls her into the ring post. We go to commercial with Sasha in control. Back from the break, Sasha misses a knee in the corner. Becky with an exploder suplex for a 2 count. More back and forth on the mat. Sasha with a running knee to the face for a 2 count. Becky unloads with a forearm. Sasha with a backside. Sasha counters a tilt the world and knocks Becky down on the apron. Becky with a kick to the face. Becky goes up top, but Sasha runs up also. Becky pushes her back to the mat and nails a drop kick for a 2 count. Becky drops Sasha with an elbow. They end up back on the top rope again. Sasha brings Becky down with a sunset flip. But Sasha laid back down real hard off of the sunset flip. And the referee counts a double pin. 1, 2, 3. Both shoulders were down. Lillian Garcia came up and announces it a draw. After the match, the referee informs Lillian Garcia that all 4 shoulders were down, resulting in a double pin. The match was called a draw. Everyone looks confused as the Flairs make their exit, and Becky and Sasha look off from the ring. Miz versus Dolph Ziggler was up next. Rematch, or whatever. Nope, not a rematch. Back from the break, out comes Ziggler as the Miz looks on. We see their segment from last week's Raw pre-show that led to this match. Ziggler with an early pin attempt and neck breaker into a 2 count. Ziggler nails a drop kick and a splash in the corner. Ziggler with another neck breaker and a elbow drop for a 2. Miz catches a super kick. Ziggler blocks the skull-crushing finale and splashes Miz in the corner. Miz then rolls up Ziggler out of nowhere for the pin. After he hit the turnbuckle for the quick pin. We'll get a promo from Bray Wyatt backstage. Still to come, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho versus Tag Team Champions New Day. Also a look at Shane McMahon's return. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a look at Shane returning in the middle of Stephanie McMahon's accepting the Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award from last week. Stephanie was backstage talking, walking to the ring. Back to commercial, back from the break, and the Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award is back on display in the ring. Stephanie makes her way out. She says last week was her proudest moment until her brother interrupted. She's going to finish her acceptance speech, but she never did, and would appreciate it if everyone give her the respect she deserves. Well, that didn't happen. Fan chant Shane O'Mac. She says he's not here, just like he won't be here after he loses to the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Stephanie starts her speech and the boos get louder. Stephanie doesn't look happy. And she starts it over and over again. Fan chant, we want Shane again. She clutches the award, starts about how she sacrifices family time but gets this in return from the fans. She tips the podium over and goes about the fans chanting for Shane and Shane blackmailing her father. She points out how Shane hasn't even been to a WrestleMania, but she obviously she forgets about a couple of WrestleManias ago. She says she abandoned the company. He abandoned the company. She says he doesn't care about her grandfather or her own family. She says she loves her brother, but she doesn't respect him because he always stabs her in the back when she lets her guard down. She says it eats Shane alive that she's married to Triple H, and because she has so much power in this business, she brings up how Shane said his sons are in line to take over WWE one day. She says they will fight. They'll have to fight for it, like her daughters will. She says the idea of working for Shane makes her want to vomit. She says Taker is going to dismember Shane at WrestleMania, and then he can take a permanent vacation. She starts ripping into the crowd as they boo her. She says soon everyone will have to bow down to the king, Triple H, and your queen, herself. She drops the mic, raises the award with the WrestleMania sign on in the background. Stephanie then leaves as her music hits. Still to come segment, Undertaker, Lucha Dragons versus Sheamus and Rusev. Back from the break, Sin Cara is in the ring with the United States Champion Kalisto. League of Nations comes out next. Champion Rusev will be in action. Alberto Del Rio and King Barrett look on from ringside. Sheamus and Sin Cara go at it and start things off. Sin Cara with a crossbody to take Sheamus down early on in the match. Then Sin Cara gets a 2 count and a drop kick to send Rusev to the floor. Well, body slam challenge is still on, so if somebody body slams them during this match, they win the Maserati. Well, Sheamus tosses Sin Cara to the floor, and the League tosses him into the barrier while the referee was distracted. Rusev comes back in and brings Sin Cara back in the ring to keep control. Rusev keeps Sin Cara grounded as the fans chant for Lana. Nowhere in sight. Sheamus tags in and stomps on Cara. Sheamus unloads with the forearms to the chest on the apron. Sheamus talks Sin Cara and talks trash. Sin Cara fights back, but Sheamus slams him for a 2 count. Sheamus works on the arm now. Sheamus runs into a boot in the corner. Sin Cara nails a tornado DDT. Rusev and Kalisto come in at the same time. Kalisto unloads and covers for a 2 count, and Sheamus breaks a pin. Sin Cara sends Sheamus to the floor and dives out on the Barrett. Sheamus nails a brogue kick on Sin Cara on the floor. Kalisto leaps out onto Sheamus from the top rope. Del Rio distracts Kalisto on the apron. Kalisto turns it around to a big kick from Rusev for the win. Winners of the match, Rusev and Sheamus. After the match, Del Rio turns Kalisto upside down in the corner for the tree of woe and nails a big stop. The League goes back to celebrating. We see footage from earlier today with Renee Young and Natalya filming a commercial backstage for Subway. Still to come, The Undertaker. Also, Vince McMahon will be here. We'll get a look back at Triple H opening Raw and Dean Ambrose interrupting him. Also, the main event, Ambrose versus Del Rio. Back to commercial. Next match, we got Ryback versus Adam Rose. Back from the break, out comes Ryback. We get a sidebar video from earlier with Ryback talking about how he deserves to shine on his own. Heel form, that is. No swimming pools, no superstars. Yep, that's the hillbilly heel turn. If the WWE spotlight isn't given to him, he will take it. We see the social outcast at ringside. Ryback overpowers early on as fans chant for Goldberg. Rose makes a comeback after Ryback dominates. Rose with a drop kick for a 2 count. Rose keeps on as Heath Slater, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas cheer him on. Ryback steps and unloads on Rose with strikes as the referee tries to pull him off. Then Ryback nails Shell Shock for the win. After the bell, Ryback quickly leaves and walks to the back. We can look back at Brock Lesnar attacking Dean Ambrose from last week. Yeah, the outside hitting in the limo through the windshield. New Day versus Chris Jericho and AJ. Styles. We go to the ring. Out comes the Tag Team Champions New Day for the non-title match. Match commercial. Back from the break. New Day is talking about how they're the most successful group in WWE history because they are a brotherhood. Big E is interrupted by Chris Jericho's pyro. Out he comes to a pop. AJ Styles is out next. Also to a big crowd reaction. Jericho starts things off with Kofi as they go at it. Jericho with a nice chop kick and a chop in a corner. Styles tags in as they double team Kofi. Big E runs in, but they toss him to the floor with Kofi. Styles and Jericho leap out onto their opponents as we go to commercial. Back for the break, and the champ stomp away on Styles as Xavier Woods runs his mouth at ringside. Styles ends up dropped. Face first on the apron. Kofi brings Styles back in the ring and covers for a 2 count. Big E comes in, runs the ropes, and nails the splash, but Styles kicks out at 2. Styles ends up countering and nailing a Pele kick. Jericho tags in, as does Kofi. Jericho with a shoulder tackle. Kofi throws him into the apron. Jericho goes up top with the axe handle. Jericho with a running insecurity and a running bulldog. Jericho with a springboard kick to send Woods off the apron. Kofi comes back with another gets a close pin attempt for a 2 count. Jericho avoids a drop kick and nails the Lion's out, but Big E breaks the pin. Big E then throws Jericho into the ring post. Styles brings board in with a forearm on Big E, sending him to the floor. Kofi clothesline Styles to the floor. Jericho turns around, blocks Trouble in Paradise. Jericho gets the balls to Jericho, locked in for the non-title win. Submission. After the match, New Day is leaving when Styles takes a mic. He says this win puts Y2AJ at the top of the list for the WWE Tag Team titles. As fans cheer, Jericho says Y2AJ is a thing, and they are the new big thing in WWE. Jericho challenges New Day to a title match for next week's Raw. Jericho says after next week, the titles, the New Day, Y2AJ, WrestleMania, and everything else will never, ever be the same again. Still to come, Triple H's answer for Dean Ambrose. Also Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio and Undertaker's return. Back to commercial. Back from the break, out comes Vince McMahon to a mild reaction. He's not happy with the reaction as fans that's all they have for him. He goes on about Shane McMahon winning at WrestleMania 32 would be bad for WWE. Vince says he loves his son enough to teach him a lesson he will never forget. Vince calls The Undertaker his instrument of destruction. Vince introduces Taker as lights go out, and the bell tolls as Taker makes his grand entrance. Taker gets a big pop as he finally appears. Vince looks on as the dead man marches to the ring. Taker enters the ring and looks up at the WrestleMania sign, then back at Vince. Fans chant for Undertaker. Vince says, "That's right. He's my force of destruction." He does. Taker grabs Vince by the throat as he's choking. Taker says Vince knows what is going to happen when he closes that door behind him at WrestleMania. Taker then says Vince knows that he does, and the blood of his own son will be on Vince's own hands, not Taker's. Taker's music hits and he leaves. That was a very quick segment. Taker's music finally stops and Vince takes the mic. Vince says that the reality is that he will be standing in the ring the night after WrestleMania, and Shane will have failed him as a son by losing to The Undertaker. Vince says he's going to write Shane out of his will and give it all to Stephanie. Vince says this pains him to say, but he will renounce Shane as a son. He says Shane will no longer be a son from the heart. He will just be a son of a bitch. Well, there goes your PG. Ratings for the show. Vince music hits as he stands with the WrestleMania banner in the background. Vince looks around and the crowd and acts conflicted about Shane no longer being his son. We go to commercial. Back from the break, we get a look at the Dudley Boys and Usos feud. So we get Jey Uso versus Bubba Ray Dudley. We go to the ring, out comes the Usos. Dudleys were out next. Uso strikes first with a drop kick in the corner. He goes to work on Bubba. Bubba comes out of the corner and runs Uso over. Bubba rips Uso's shirt off and chops him in the chest. Bubba talks trash, and Uso rocks him with the right hand. More physical back and forth action as Uso nails a super kick. Devon Dudley brings the table from under the ring for distraction. Jimmy Uso runs around and jumps off the steps to hit Devon, but he gets smacked with a table instead. Bubba takes advantage of the distraction and hits a full nail, the bubble bomb, on the distracted Uso for the win. Then we get another backstage segment with R-Truth telling Goldust he's not interested. Goldust walks off with his feelings hurt. So to come Triple H's answer for Ambrose. Also Ambrose versus Del Rio in the main event. Up next, Kevin Owens versus Big Show. Rematch. Back to commercial. Back from the break, out comes WWE Intercontinental Champion and Kevin Owens for his non-title match. Big Show was out next. Bell rings and Show strikes first. They end up on the floor as Owens counters, sending Show into the ring post. Owens beats Show down on the floor and tries to get him counted out, just like last week on SmackDown. Well, Owens goes back out and hits a big DDT from the apron, dropping Show head first onto the floor. Show makes it back in at 9 count. Owens does running senton for a 2 count. Owens goes to the top, but Show grabs him by the throat. No selling anything that Owens gave him. Owens fights back. Show crotches him on the top rope, just like Owens did last week with Show. Owens falls to the floor and gets counted out himself. After the match, Owens is still laying on the floor in pain as Show laughs in the ring. Renee is backstage with Brie Bella. Renee asks what her confidence is like going into the match with Naomi. Brie talks about the tough loss to Charlotte at Fastlane and says she has nothing to be ashamed of. She feels better than ever. She says Daniel Bryan and Nikki Bella are doing so good. Lana walks up and interrupts things. Lana knocks Brie and Bryan and talks about how she and Rusev are better. Lana says their marriage will fail. Brie says if Lana ever gets in the ring, then they can talk. She knocks Rusev and walks off as we go to commercial. Next up, we got Naomi versus Brie. After a break, the Divas are out. Tamina watches from ringside. Naomi starts off and hits a knee to the gut. They go on, and Brie ends up with Naomi in an armbar. Naomi distracts the referee, and Tamina gets a cheap shot. At one point, Naomi baseball slides Brie to the floor in front of Tamina. Brie makes it back in, and Naomi goes to work on her again. Naomi with more offense and gets a 2 count. Brie fights up and out of a hole, but Naomi bulldogs her into the middle turnbuckle. Naomi goes for the split-legged moonsault, but Brie moved. Naomi delivering some kicks. She hits a series of jumping kicks. Brie ducks a kick and hits one of her own. Then Brie goes to Brie mode with a yes chant from the crowd. Nails a drop kick. Brie with a running knee to the face goes up top. Tamina runs up, but Brie drops her. Naomi takes advantage of that and gets a 2 count on Brie. Naomi hangs on and applies her new submission for the win. After the match, Lana's music hits and out she comes to the stage. Lana laughs at Brie and taunts her, but never takes the mic. Still to come, segment, Del Rio versus Ambrose. Back commercial. Back from the break. We got the WWE Hall of Fame video for the Fabulous Freebirds. And yes, they're doing the back street. Or Bad Street. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bad Street, the whole USA. Yeah, you know that. I'm a steel booker's eye. Tell me I just didn't sing that. Sasha and Becky were backstage talking about their match from earlier. Charlotte and Ric Flair walk up. Charlotte reveals that they will face each other one more time on this week's SmackDown. And the winner will face her at WrestleMania. Dean Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio is the main event. We go to the ring. Out comes Dean Ambrose to a big pop. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Alberto Del Rio was out with the League of Nations. Del Rio took control early on and sends Ambrose to the floor. He throws Ambrose into the barrier a few times and focuses on the taped up shoulder and ribs. Del Rio continues to dominate the match and brings him back in the ring for more offense. Del Rio goes on and hits a drop kick to the face for a 2 count. Del Rio turns Ambrose upside down in the corner with a tree of woe and climbs up for the stomp. He wastes time and Ambrose pulls Del Rio to the mat. Ambrose makes a comeback, but Del Rio nails the backstabber, sending Ambrose to the floor in pain. Del Rio turns Ambrose upside down on the barrier and hits a big stomp. Ambrose barely makes it back in at 9 count. Del Rio with big kick in the corner. Ambrose blocks a cross arm breaker. Del Rio blocks dirty deeds. Ambrose does a big bounce back clothesline. Ambrose unloads and knocks Del Rio down twice. Ambrose with a bulldog and a 2 count. Ambrose goes up top, but Del Rio attacked him. Del Rio climbs up for a superplex, but Ambrose headbutts him a few times. Ambrose elbows Del Rio back to the mat. Ambrose does a missile drop kick for a 2 count. Ambrose ends up running into the ring post. Del Rio with an insecurity in the corner. Del Rio charges and lands on the floor as Ambrose moved. Ambrose goes to the top and elbows out onto the league, taking them all down. Ambrose comes back in the ring as the fans pop. Triple H's music interrupts. Bell rings as the league runs in and attacks Ambrose from behind while he's distracted by Triple H. Winner by disqualification, Dean Ambrose after the bell. The league beats Ambrose down. Triple H walks to the ring and nods in approval. He even shakes their hands. They leave and he takes the mic. He says Ambrose is never going to learn. He gets down and says Ambrose is never going to beat the Authority. Ambrose reaches up, punches with a big right hand, unloads and beats the heck out of Triple H in the corner. Triple H comes right out of the corner with a pedigree, who recovers and says, "You're on," in regards to the title match. Triple H leaves. Ambrose takes the mic and interrupts his music. Ambrose says thanks. As fans pop. Triple H takes off his coat, comes back in the ring, rolls up his sleeves. Triple H throws Ambrose to the floor and then over the announce table. Triple H throws Byron Saxton to the floor. Gee, I wonder why he did that. Because he screwed up last week. He tosses some papers, probably what he was reading, and brings Ambrose on top of the table for a bunch of right hands. Referee tries to calm Triple H down, but he's lost it and continues pounding on Ambrose. Triple H finally stops and leaves it with his title as some fans boo. Trainer checks on Ambrose as Raw goes off the air. And apparently there was no dark match main event. For that, there was nothing posted. And that concludes my Raw results along with other wrestling results as well. Thanks again. Peace out. See you when I want to be in. By the way, if you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.